so true.
Mate, I'm just in awe of what you've built, Darren. I mean, the boys get the credit, of course, because they're the ones behind the bars.
For sure.
But there's a guy who was a tradie back in the day in Sunny Coast that was working 2 or 3 jobs to make a dream.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you ever see it getting to be like this?
No, never. No, it just, obviously that work ethic is all we had. Just never quit and keep on pushing. And certain little circumstances led to us to go to Europe, you know, so it just, that happened and we just grabbed it with both hands and went, well, this is our opportunity, let's just put a head down, bum up and see how far we can get.
Did you ever think back in the day that there was something, a bigger purpose to what you were doing, that, you know, you weren't going to be, you know, doing cladding and, you know, roofing and plastering and shit like that your whole life?
No, and that's probably why it happened, because I'm a very stubborn, narrow, like I focus on something, I will never quit until I achieve it. So for me, my only way to provide the best living for my family was just to become a better tradesman, better business and so forth and get going. So when I lost my business due to nothing I did wrong, it was just builders went broke and it just put us in the hole. It was like, wow, I didn't sort of envisage that, you know? I was like, wow, I did nothing wrong, the job was good, but he just went broke and took a lot of people to the bank. So that's what stopped me enough to change focus on crap, what do I do now, you know? And it was work myself out of the hole, pay the tax back, pay the government back, and all that sort of stuff. And then the opportunity of going to Europe came about. So no, it was a total switch of where I thought we were going as a family, you know?
Going to Europe was, at the time, pretty massive. And I remember you saying you got a call from factory team there, like, and you didn't actually fully understand that the guy was legit the factory team.
I thought it was typical Aussie guy having a lend to me, you know? So it took me a bit to comprehend it and understand it, but it was, like I said, it was like, whoa, if we weren't in that position, if my business would have kept on growing and kept on going, I don't know whether we would have went that path, because it was like, oh, well, no, I've worked this hard to get to here, but because it just went back to zero, it was like, oh, you're at another divide in your road of which path do you go. And for me, it was like, well, I really believe my sons have the opportunity and the chance to be good at this, so let's give it a go, you know. So
there's so many lessons in all this.
Oh, yeah.
Like 100%. The fork in the road isn't necessarily an intersection that you have to stop.
No.
Just pivot.
Yeah, and try and make the right decision on the things you have. You know, there's no guarantee for anything ever. You got history behind you that maybe helps you make the decision, or your life experiences, but tomorrow's not promised for no one.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are. You be Donald Trump, tomorrow ain't promised. So it's you just go on experience and history and go, well, you know what, let's give it a go on the education I've learnt and what we've got a chance, and it's a gamble.
I don't think anyone in Australia outside the motocross industry understands the impact that you and your boys are having on this industry.
Yeah.
Americans live sport. We love it. They live it.
Yes.
So to have them on top of the world, both of them,
yes,
that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I talked to an old mate like Scotty Bishop, Mike Ward, those guys, because they obviously helped Hunter out a lot when I was in the mines and so forth, and they were really good to get me to understand that, Darren, it's actually good for the whole industry in Australia. It's not just about Honda for Australia. Yeah. For Australia, it's about all the kids growing up seeing, oh wow, that dream is possible. And I was like, oh, I didn't actually think of it that way, obviously, until they're in it, you know. And they said, for our industry in Australia, which makes you feel good that you're helping, you know, your home country in the industry and the sport that you love, you know.
Well, I mean, the championships are one thing.
Yep.
The Motocross of Nations thing is enormous. Yep. And again, outside the motorsport industry, no one understands how big that was to dominate the Motocross of Nations. For sure, yeah. Especially when I didn't realise it. Obviously, I wasn't a motorbike guy. I was a farm kid, grew grain and sorghum on a farm, so it was just an old Ag 250 with a steel tank. You'd go down to the tractor or go get the cattle in or whatever. So I didn't understand anything about the history. Even when we rode for factory Suzuki with Stefan Everts, I'm like, Stefan, I understand you're a legend, but I'm sorry, I know nothing of the history of who you are, what you achieved, sort of thing. I was just told that you're a legend, so then I obviously started to learn that. But it's the fact that we tried to win the nations for 40 years, it was like, whoa, we actually did it. But for us that's in it, you're not looking at the records, and it's the same for Jett and Hunter. For me, records and all that sort of stuff is sort of kind of like,
talking at the pub on a Friday night. It's just ego. It doesn't really move the needle. What moves the needle in your life is your accomplishments and the goals that you set and your wins and the money you can earn, which changes your family infrastructure for years to come through, So for me, it was like, because we were working at just being better and better and better, and then all of a sudden that achievement just comes. But you're not focused sort of on the achievement, you're focused on the present, on what do I need to do to get to that,
Does the goalpost keep changing?
100%, all the time. Especially if you want to keep going or winning, you always got to keep going because everyone's chasing you. Because I know I'd be chasing him. If someone was beating you all the time, which we've been beat a lot in our life, you have to. To succeed, you have to fail multiple times because that gives you the drive. So we are constantly trying to re-innovate, and try and be better.
I'm a dad of 4 boys.
Yep.
They all have skills in their own lives, but I'm more proud of who they are as people.
Yes.
You have 3 killer boys who it's probably clouded a bit by their success on motorcycles. For
sure.
Including Tate with his Honda contract. But at the end of the day, you just want your kids to be good kids. Now, they're growing up in a very bright glare spotlight. Mm-hmm. I watched something yesterday that made me sick, just watching social medias.
Yes.
Judgment.
Yep.
And Hunter handled that really well on Gypsy Tales. It's like, well, we know who we are.
Yeah.
We know what we do and we've got to stay true to that. But you get to the top, it's tough, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's haters.
It's funny, as a dad, I don't know if other dads out there listening understand this, but me as a dad, I don't mind when trials and tribulations and these hard times come on my boys because I know it makes them a tougher mental person. And you will never become that without them. It's impossible. So the trials and the tribulations that my family's been through and the struggles we had, don't care who you are, if you think you're a tough person or mentally strong, you will not know that until you go to the bottom.
Yep.
It is impossible. You can talk about it as much as you like, but until you're personally in that spot, you will never understand or have the idea of what it's like to be mentally strong to pick you up from the bottom. So I don't mind the struggles and the tribulations because I know it's bit by bit, it's the world making my boys tougher.
So you were saying before that when Jett was asked what his ambition was, and it was like to beat the record. Like I don't want to just ride around in left hand, right hand. I want to beat the record. And people's like, well, hang on a minute.
Yep.
What was his win record?
McGrath?
No, well, his was good, but what was your boys? Is it 23-0 or something like that?
Yeah.
Right?
What Jett's done for sure. Yeah, it's more than we ever thought we would. That's for sure. But you need any person in life. You have to have a long-term goals, and then you have to have short, intermediate goals to get there. Otherwise, the human body, the human person, I think needs not guidance. What's the word I'm looking for? They need something to strive for.
Yeah.
The worst thing for human, I think, is an idle brain. Because your brain will just play tricks on you and do stupid things. You need a purpose, I guess. A human needs a good purpose to go for.
You're not an idle brain person.
No.
I don't think you've probably ever been.
No, but I think generally for humans out there watching this, you need a purpose, and then that gives you ambition to go towards that. And people don't understand that purpose is a theory. It's a mindset that you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a mechanic, a carpenter, whatever. That's a theory. And then you've got to go through all your steps to get there. So I was dumbfounded when Felder, whoever it was, doing the interview and asked Jett for what's your goal? And he said, he'd already said one thing and that obviously didn't hit their mark, what they wanted. So they asked him again and he went, to reach Jeremy McGrath's record. And then people sort of paid out and I'm like, don't you want your kids to have a goal and push to be the best they can be? You've got to have that carrot, to go. I was a bit like, wow, the human race doesn't even think that way, which is quite disappointing,
You've got an amazing compound here with, a range of different practice skill levels and skill sets.
Yep.
And you train in the hottest most humid environment in America for a reason.
Yep.
And being a Sunny Coast family.
Yes.
Like Hunter was going to work at Australia Zoo at one point with reptiles.
Yes.
To now have the news that Caboolture, right near the beach pretty well, just down the road from Australia Zoo.
Okay.
Andrew Corbett and Lee and their team are building a sprint car track on one side and an elite motocross track on the other. So it'll be a whole motorplex.
Unreal.
Moreton Bay Motorplex, basically.
Okay.
So you understand how important it is for rider training, let alone events.
Yep.
You've got to have a facility, right?
100%. And the people talk about like vandalism, robberies, kids on the streets, young kids dying. There should be nothing in this planet, like a parent should never have to bury their child.
Yep.
For me, that's like, it shouldn't happen.
Yep.
And if you want your kid, you keep your kid out of trouble. You've got to keep, especially a boy, you've got to keep them busy, because a boy will always want to do something, and generally it will go towards doing something wrong. They're not wanting to do something wrong, they're just wanting to do something. They're an active...
Like the idle mind thing you're talking about.
Exactly. So for me, sport is the best way to teach children to improve themselves. Hey, you want to win that race, or you want to hit that cricket ball, that tennis ball better, you have to work at it. And that then rubs over onto work life, marriage life, everything. They create a work ethic to be a better person. I think sport is a fun thing to do that. So if you want your community, the human race, I'm talking the world, to be a better place, we have to give children sports and complexes to do these things. Otherwise, they'll be down at the skate park, learn how to smoke a joint or dealing drugs. Because we used to ride at Roy's Road, which was illegal. It was in a forestry thing, but everyone did it. And one day the forestry guy came up to me and said, oh, you're not supposed to be here, and the police come, they'll give you a ticket. And I said to him, I'd be happy to pay the ticket. And he looked at me weird and he went, well, that's the first time anyone's ever said that. And I said, mate, that's cheap. I'd prefer to pay that $170 ticket than not be with my boys, learning how to ride a motorcycle better. They'd be down at the skate park or down the street getting in trouble. For me, it's a small fee to pay to hopefully have your kids doing something, that's going to help them be a better person.
So have you watched the movie King Richard? The Serena and Venus Williams and Richard Williams story. There's probably some similarities in how you've had to be firm, you've had a dream, and you've kept the boys on the road to that. But without that drive, wanting to create a better life and wanting people to succeed, and that's the Williams sisters were probably criticised at the time, or Richard was, for being so single-minded.
For sure.
You speak with such passion, mate.
And stubborn. I seen stubbornness in him. That was like, no, this is what I really believe we can achieve and we can do, and that's what I loved. And humans are a very complicated thing. Stubbornness in that thing is unreal. Stubbornness in a marriage, not so great. So you got to work out where you apply it and where not. But no, the general public, I'm finding, which is disappointing, they don't understand the mindset you have to have. It's all or nothing to get to that. And with that comes the negatives of like just a stubbornness and a beeline in one direction. So it's hey, it wasn't my goals. Let's get that one thing clear. Like Hunter and Jett had that dream of what they wanted to do, and I think as a parent, you've just got to support that, not necessarily lead it. Sometimes you may lead some things, and hey mate, you want to get to here, and you set the example by working hard and physically doing things that they go, wow, he's working that hard, I need to do these things. You have to have that practical representation of what it takes to succeed. But yeah, they had the dream and goal, and as parents, I think we just need to support them.
There's people probably have an idea of what the dream looks like when you get there, right? Oh, yes, you should be humble. You shouldn't get money. You should just, work really hard and enjoy riding the motorcycle. But I love that your boys, they don't make a big deal of it, but they're successful, right? Financially, it's come at a price.
For sure.
But they enjoy their lifestyle, particularly Jett, right?
Yes.
Rolls Royce, all those stories.
Yes.
But that's what it should be about, right?
Yeah, well, it should be once what we taught with Jett was a balance, right? And there's a whole story to that. I made a deal with him before he won any championship. He was looking at his cars, as any kid does. And I said, all right, for every championship you win, you can get a car. I didn't think the little shit was going to win so many. So I was like, crap. So, he got the Audi, and then he's always loved cars because I've been a car guy my entire life. So then you're still trying to do a teaching moment with them. When he won the Rolls, it was way more money than we sort of first discussed. So the deal was, all right, well, you can get the Rolls, but you got to go without for 2 to 3 years because that car is worth 2 to 3 years of championships. And he was like, yeah, all right, I'm for it. So do we need to do that? I don't know. But for me, that was him making a deal and then sticking to the deal. So you're creating a character and a charisma. Like, no, my word is my bond, So it made him, no, this is what the deal I did. And then he stuck with it. And so I think having that balance of like, all right, you get this much money, you're going to pay this much tax, you're going to invest this much. All right, buddy, here's your play money. Because if it went totally the other way and you just went, this is your tax and you're investing it all, the kid will get to 25 and they'll retire. And then everyone will be like, oh, they drove him too hard. They'll be like, I'm trying to get Jett to have a balance that he can have some fruit, but then he's also investing for his after career.
Well, Darren, he's not Britney Spears, right?
No.
You're not having to control billions of dollars. And,
No.
And the other side of that really is that football teams have life coaches, right? They have managers that teach these young athletes how to handle money.
Yes.
All those sort of things.
Yes.
So suddenly when you're 19, 20 years of age and you can afford a Rolls Royce, if you didn't have someone there going, hang on, let's use this as a process, not there's your credit card.
Well, it's understanding, and I don't know if you've watched those Netflix shows, the footballers, it's 30 and got nothing or whatever they are. I can't remember the names of them, but our financial advisor that takes care of Jett and Hunter does nothing but footballers, baseballers and athletes. So he's used to getting $26 million sign-on bonuses for footballs, and he's got to try and keep as much of that money. So he understands it. So that's where we went through and go, for Jett at such a young age to have such a massive amount of money, I would play with him and he'd go, oh yeah, I'm going to go fill my car up. And then that night I'd go, how much did you pay per gallon? He's like, I don't know. So there's little things I've seen that Jett didn't understand. For me, he wasn't understanding the full value of $1. And at the moment, he probably doesn't. But what he needs to understand is he earns great money for 10 years.
Right.
Then you've got the rest of your life to live. So the dollar now is going to mean way more in 15 years. So just with your old wisdom, your old bones, you're trying to teach him that, this money doesn't just grow on trees. There is a value to it. So Jason does it with his footballers. He puts them on a budget. So the budget is just a separate card for him to have that is just for his Chipotle, his groceries, like whatever he wants to buy, fun stuff. Goes to Bass Pro Fishing, goes to whatever. So everything else is taken care of. House loans, investments, bills, that's all taken care of. That's his mass amount and that's his investment account. But then he has a separate card that you get, all right, you're getting $3,000 a month. And if you want to save up for the most expensive set of golf clubs and fishing rod and it's X amount, well, you've got a budget for 2 months and then you can go and buy that. So it just trying to teach the value of $1 to these kids that get so much money at such a young age. I think it can get them into trouble unless you do those little tiny things, So
Hunter's very worldly, mate. I listened to his podcast with Gypsy Tales.
Yes.
He's a very old world thinker.
Yep.
Like it's almost like Jett has two dads.
Yeah.
I mean that with respect.
True. No, true. Hunter is, because obviously I went away in the mines working, so Hunter sort of was the head of the family. He'd take care of bike mates and so forth. So I think it got him to grow up a bit quicker than what normal. But yeah, he is a methodical thinker. He's analytical. He needs to know, if I do that, there's a consequence. And the person that taught me this was actually Michael Pichon in France, because his son Zachary is similar age to Hunter.
Yep.
And he's the same as Hunter. Methodical, analytical, cautious, and he was like, Darren, we actually produced these. I'm like, really? What do you mean? He's like, well, when you had your first child, you're like, oh, watch out for that step. Oh, don't eat the dirt. Yep. We actually make them realise there's a consequence for what they're going to do. By the time your third one comes along, like, oh, yeah, he'll trip over, he'll work it out. Yeah, eat the dirt, mate, it won't hurt you. So, and I was like, wow, because his third boy is Lenny, and he's the same as Jett. I was going to give this a crack, and we'll see what happens. And I'm like, wow, we did. So it's for parents out there, they may be able to assimilate with that to go, yeah, that's actually quite true. So that's why Hunter, I think, is the way he is.
It's a grind for you. Like, you're committed to this project 24/7. You're not just going back, kicking back, going, rightio boys, there's the bikes. I've employed all the good people, go your hardest. Yep. Honda is 100% in with you on shock settings, on the bike handling. That's what's cool about what you do, mate. You're not just the dad. Yeah,
but I love it. I love being involved. I love learning the knowledge. I don't know whether when you get old, when you're a kid, you'd sit there with your dad and your dad wonder what documentaries. You're like, oh, this sucks. I'm that guy now. I want to watch you want to learn. You want a YouTube university. Like, you love information. I don't know whether it comes with age or I just love Hutch as our crew chief. So good with data, so good with this whole industry. He's been in it longer than I am. Derek, our suspension guy, he's like, Lars, he's been in this and his dad was in this. I love all that crew because they're just so knowledgeable and you can come to them with ideas and go, hey, what do you think of this? And they go, yeah, no, that's not a bad idea, but we've got to work this and that. Our crew of Honda are such awesome thinkers and have the same mindset as us, and what are we got to do to win? You know, what are we got to do to move forward? And they're sick. I love our crew.
When you were working on those 3 jobs and being a tradie and all those things, if someone had said to you, "Hey mate, there's going to be this pair of brothers one day. They're going to be number 1 and 2 riders in the world," even you would have said, "Oh, that's cool. What a great story."
For sure. I got to get back to rendering. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what would have been like. Oh, that's awesome, but that's not my role at the moment. I got to do this for sure. But no, I never would have dreamt it'd be us.
I wish Australian sport understood more what's going on here.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that's not your payoff.
No, it ain't. But sadly, I think a bat and a ball's easy to buy. A football, a cricket bat, it's a more affordable thing. And sadly, it's harder to make a living these days in this world. Every family's got their back to the wall, working their butt off. And that's the annoying thing. You look at it as like, we only have the most valuable thing on this planet Earth is your 80, if you're blessed enough to live 80 or 90 years, is your time. And it's sort of annoying that time for families is probably just getting less and less and less over time. And whether that's because of these stupid phones,
it is.
we've got to have the big house, so they work hard to get to that, whereas back in the day it was more of a simpler life. Hey, you're just having a roof over your head, you're happy. So you do spend more time with your family.
How old are you now?
52.
So you got 30 years. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Yeah. Well, I'm already thinking about after career. Obviously, I always am. It's what are we going to do then, and just that balance of like, now, let's focus on now, but what's happening in the future. So, no, we'll be doing something. I'm not sure what.
Good shit, Daddy. Good shit. We were talking about it the other night. Michael and I were watching a few YouTube videos and stuff, and you just don't grasp it. Good shit. Well done,
it is. Sometimes we go, what the hell are we? And Jett's got it tattooed on his arm because Hunter said it the night he won the Supercross title, his first title. He said, "We shouldn't be here." And it was like, whoa. Of all people, nah. I have a mate of mine, Dave Campbell in Australia, a really successful businessman, went to school with my wife and top dude. And his family used to have a saying, if there's a hard way to do it, the Lawrences will work it out. That's what we did. If there was a hard way to do it, it was always, that's what happened to us. We do it the hard way, and they used to laugh about it. But
we should talk about Mum real quick.
Yep.
Because let's face it, this hasn't all just been you.
100%.
And I see that with Michael, with Felicity. Yep. She's at home, she's getting all that stuff ready on that side of it. So without your wife and without the impact she had on the boys when you were away working as well, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, she's lost diamonds out of our engagement ring because she was cleaning filters. She's
good girl.
Yeah, she's done everything. I'd come home and she's like, "Hey, does the 65 sound better?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I didn't really pay any attention. Yeah, I changed the main jet in it." I'm like, "What the hell, woman?"
So she's a full motocross.
Oh yeah, she is keen. She's behind the boys probably more than I am. She's so invested in, and that's typical mum. They just want the best for their kids. That's what a mum does.
You're transcending Aussie sport though. My son, who's a soccer freak, he plays basically NPL in the Hunter Valley, Newcastle. And when I said I was coming here, he's not a motocross fan, but he certainly knew about Jett. He certainly knew about Hunter. He knew about the Lawrence boys.
That's unreal.
So you're transcending. You probably don't get a feel of that when you're here in Florida and there's alligators out there in 100-degree heat. Yeah. You're transcending sport.
Oh, it's awesome. All I want to ever do is think something like this. I love someone can hear it. Like a dad, a kid, that they want to keep going, because this stupid phone does nothing but, like I said earlier, tell you your smile ain't good enough, you ain't rich enough, you don't look good enough. I want the boys and the girls of today to go for your goals. Don't care what this thing. Big. Yeah, dream big. There's always going to be the haters. They don't matter. They don't make your sunrise or your sunset. They are not anything to do with whether you're going to succeed or not. Just you are. Focus on you and go for the gold.